New Treasury budget forecasts project the average disposable income will grow by 3.5% in the next financial year. Labor's stage 3 tax changes, lower inflation and an expected increase in wages will see the average household disposable income increase by at least $800. Now, the Treasury projections are based off a 4.5% increase in gross wages. Let's bring in now Labor MP, member for Parramatta, Andrew Charlton. Andrew, great to see you as always. This is quite a balance for the Treasurer to achieve next Tuesday. You've got inflationary pressures continuing. Inflation remains sticky, but you want to show that you're listening to people because cost of living pressures remain. Can he achieve both things on Tuesday?
Well, I think the Treasurer has runs on the board when it comes to economic management. Over the last two budgets, he's halved the rate of inflation in Australia while also delivering the first budget surplus in 15 years. And this budget will be a continuation of that challenge, which, as you said, is to help families who are doing it really tough with cost of living pressures, but delivering relief in a way that doesn't add to inflation and put further pressure on interest rates. We've done that over the last year and a half through measures to cut the cost of energy, cut the cost of childcare, cut the cost of medicines, measures that help families but reduce the level of prices and therefore reduce inflation. And we'll have the same challenge in this budget to deliver relief to Australians in a way that that doesn't hurt inflation, but rather helps bring inflation down.
And when it comes to that, does it need to be, in your view as an economist, does it need to be a contractionary budget?
Well, the budget certainly needs to be fiscally prudent. It needs to be a budget which doesn't add to inflationary pressures in the economy. And the Treasurer has said that this budget will be carefully calibrated to make sure that it doesn't add to those inflationary pressures and that there will be lots of fiscal repair in the budget. We've already been working hard to deliver a budget surplus last year. We've been working hard to deliver a budget surplus this year. And of course, a budget surplus means that the government is withdrawing money from the economy rather than adding it to the economy in that fiscal year. And that's what we're hoping to see when this budget is revealed on Tuesday night. And that will be a budget which is in surplus and therefore is taking money out of the economy.
Big part of the plan is the future made in Australia. To achieve that, you've got to have energy and reliable, cheap energy. The gas strategy announced today by Madeleine King. She was on the program earlier. And that's obviously something that manufacturing and others will welcome. I just want to pick up on something Adam Bandt said in the last few minutes before we went to the ad break. He's talking about how Labor, on the one hand, is committing to zero pollution by 2050 and then now committing to backing gas. What he doesn't include in that statement is that this is about net zero by 2050. You've still got to have a firming capacity.
That's right. The government is committed to hitting those climate targets, but we're committed to hitting those climate targets without smashing the economy. And that involves a careful transition over the course of the next couple of decades to make sure that the Australian economy continues to grow while we decarbonise. And as you say, that decarbonisation is heading towards a net zero outcome, where in some cases we'll be withdrawing carbon from the economy. In other cases, we'll be finding transition fuels and other methods to make sure that Australia's industries remain strong. There is no point destroying the Australian economy on the way to net zero. And so you've seen from the government a clear plan which makes sure that we can continue to grow our economy, create prosperity and jobs while delivering a clean energy future.
On another matter, the University Vice-Chancellors, the Group of 8, seeking advice from the Attorney-General on some of the language being used around the encampments, the pro-Palestinian groups, things like from the river to the sea or intifada, clarification as to whether that amounts to hate speech. Would you like to see bans of that sort of speech along the similar lines to what we've seen with bans on Nazi salutes?
Well, I'd like to make sure that our universities are safe places for the students who go there to learn. let's remember that's the main purpose of these universities. We need to make sure that we back our police and back our university administrations to make sure that campuses are safe for students and safe environments for everybody on those campuses. In terms of the language that's being used, I do support students' right to protest, but those protests have to be lawful and they have to be in line with the university's own code of conduct. And I think it's appropriate that we back the police and back the university authorities to determine where those lines are and make sure that the students who have a right to protest are protesting within those lines.